T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff.
Vehicle is pitching downrange. M1D chamber pressure is nominal.
And Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Launch Complex 39A, carrying our 53 Starlink satellites. Although at liftoff, gravity is pulling straight down on the rocket. As we ascend, we'll tilt the engines, technical term is gimbling, and that turns the rocket horizontally. We're still going up, but now we are also heading horizontally away from the launch pad. It's what we call a gravity turn. Moments ago, we throttled the engines down in preparation for max Q. We're in the throttle bucket.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Max Q is the point during which the vehicle is under maximum dynamic pressure.
Max Q.
There, we've passed through max Q. Coming up are a quick series of events happening in quick succession. First, MECO, or main engine cutoff. This is where the 9 Merlin engines on the first stage shut off to slow the vehicle down in preparation for the next milestone, stage separation. This is where the first stage separates from the second stage.
Start event back chill.
As the first stage starts to make its way back to Earth for landing, the second stage continues its journey with SES-1, or second engine start 1. This is where the single Merlin vacuum engine on the second stage lights up and propels the second stage along with the Starlink satellites into orbit. About 30 seconds out from that MECO. As the rocket heads up into space, you'll start to see the plume at the aft end of the rocket begin to spread out. That's as the pressure alleviates from the bottom of the vehicle. You can there isn't as much pressure holding in that plume. There we saw main engine cut off. Call out for MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
And back ignition.
Bearing separation confirmed.
And we just saw main engine cutoff, stage separation, second engine startup, and fairing deploy. With the fairing halves separated, the satellites are now exposed to the vacuum of space above the second stage of the rocket on the right-hand side of your screen there. While the second stage is doing its job, the first stage is coming back home to Earth and will execute 2 burns. The first is the entry burn. It's a 3-engine burn that helps to slow the stage down. The second burn is the landing burn. It's a single-engine burn that helps bring the vehicle speed down rapidly in order to land on our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas, which is the equivalent to a size of a football field. If you're just joining us, we had a successful liftoff.
Vehicles are on nominal trajectories.
We had a successful liftoff from Launch Complex 39A, completed a main engine cutoff, stage separation, second engine start 1, and fairing deploy. And now the second stage is taking our 53 Starlink satellites to their targeted drop-off orbit in low Earth orbit, while the first stage is making its way back home for the 12th time. On the left side of your screen there, the first stage is descending.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
The Falcon 9 first stage is equipped with 4 landing legs made of carbon fiber with aluminum honeycomb. These are placed symmetrically and stowed at the base of the vehicle and deployed just prior to landing. Also on the left-hand side here, you'll see the Falcon 9 is also equipped with 4 hypersonic grid fins, 2 of which are in view. These are positioned near the top of the first stage and the base of the interstage. Stage 1 is using nothing but the grid fins for steering as it makes its return to Earth until we light the center engine for landing. Then we can gibble the engine and guide the stage. The grid fins orient the rocket during re-entry and then guide the rocket during descent. Also look out, you may see some puffs, some white puffs on the left side of the screen. Those are nitrogen gas bursts for attitude control. Really cool view of the first stage on the left-hand side there. Some small debris in the atmosphere.
Both stages continue to follow nominal trajectories.
I heard a call out for both stages are on nominal trajectories. As we come up on the start of entry burn in about 40 seconds here, just a reminder that that's a 3-second burn meant to slow the first stage down as it hits the thicker parts of the Earth's atmosphere. Right-hand side of the screen got a great view of stage 2 heading out into Leo. Is that sunrise on the left-hand side of the screen there? Coming up on entry burn.
Stage 1, FDSS.
Stage 1, entry burn, startup.
Stage 1 has lit its engines to slow down for entry into the Earth's atmosphere. This burn will last about 20 seconds.
Stage 1, entry burns, shut down.
As we previously mentioned, you were able to see some soot markings on this booster left over from previous flights. Here's a quick explanation of how that soot forms. The rocket-grade kerosene RP1 is used to fuel Falcon 9 as a carbon-based fuel. When the fuel burns, it generates soot. And because re-entry occurs engines first, the booster flies through its own plume, which then deposits the soot on the outside of the rocket.
Both vehicles are on nominal trajectories.
You continue to hear we're on nominal trajectories. That's a good sign right here. We come up on landing, you'll be able to look potentially and see some of that soot sticking to the cameras. As I mentioned before, reusability is one of our top priorities because as it's key to reducing the cost of space access for all of us. By reusing the high-cost components of the rocket,
Stage 1 transonic,
including the first stage and the fairings, we lower the overall launch cost to just the new components and the fuel and oxidizer. As a reminder, this is the 12th launch of this booster, having previously flown missions Crew Demo 2, ANASIS-II, CRS-21, Transporter 1, and 3, and 6 previous Starlink missions. Just a moment here, we'll be coming up on landing burn.
Stage 1 landing burn.
So stage 1 has begun its landing burn. This is its final burn before touchdown to land on the drone ship. This burn lasts about 20 seconds as well. I'll look at that, a clear view.
Landing leg deploy.
Beautiful.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And stage 1 has successfully landed on our drone ship, A Shortfall of Gravitas. This is the 111th recovery of a Falcon 9 first stage booster. That's listed in for SECO 1, or second engine cutoff 1.
SECO. Expected loss of signal tape. Nominal parking orbit insertion.
And we heard nominal parking orbit insertion. That's good orbit. With confirmation of a successful second engine cutoff and good orbit, we'll be ending our webcast for today's launch. For those of you who want to keep following this mission, we will be confirming payload deploy via our social channels. Thank you to the Federal Aviation Administration for supporting today's mission. Of course, thank you to our viewers for turning in bright and early, and big thank you to our Starlink customers for using our service at this time. I hope you all have a good weekend, and we'll see you soon.